Greetings viewers, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we have a 2009 Outback 30R limited wagon. We're going to be doing a full complimentary inspection front to back for the customer. This car has about 167,000 miles on the clock. Brought it to me with an AC concern. I filmed a video on it, but it didn't turn out really well, so I'm not sure if I'm going to post that video or not. So I'm not sure if this one will come first or the AC video if you'll ever see it. But with that said, let's go ahead and jump into this full vehicle inspection on this car. So guys, once again, this is a 2009 Outback 30R limited wagon, 167,000 miles on the clock. Have worked on this car in the past, but I don't believe I filmed a video on it when it was here before. We were diagnosing an issue, throwing a code for the oil control solenoids, ended up replacing both of them, fixed the code. He actually had an issue on the car last week, transmission related, while I was at Milwaukee's pipeline event, and I couldn't get to the car. I don't recall the code that he set it through, but I think it was some kind of revolution sensor or something in the transmission. Customer actually installed the part himself, remedied that issue, but he had an AC concern, as I said at the beginning. We're gonna go through and do a complimentary full inspection of the car for the customer and go from there. So guys, we'll start under the hood. I've removed the engine beauty cover, removed the air intake snorkel. Always remove the air intake snorkel just because it's a little bit easier to get a look in the air box than taking it all apart. Looks like we got a basically brand new air filter in there. As I said already, we got the new oil control solenoids on there that we had an issue with about a year and a half ago. Looking at our serpentine belt, lots of cracking, lots of age and wear on that belt. Would advise replacement there. Checked the radiator hoses the other day. They are kind of on the firm side. Probably about time to replace those. Yesterday, when I first got it in, it was very low on coolant. I topped up their reservoir for them. Radiator is full, already checked that. Looking at other various hoses, our suction hose for our power steering is hard. We see some buildup here, so the O-ring is probably hard as well. That probably has a little bit of power steering squeal in the wintertime when it's cold out. Would advise replacement on that as well. Probably time for a PCV valve and PCV hoses. The hoses are a little more malleable than the power steering hose, but not sure the age of this stuff, as I haven't exclusively worked on the car, only get it every once in a while. Other than that, looking under the hood, I did see just yesterday while working on the air conditioning concern that we need a CV axle on the passenger front. Also on the driver's front, I believe that there is a split boot, really badly split here on the passenger side. I think the driver's side just started splitting out, but other than that, nothing too terrible for a 2009 with 167,000 miles. So with a quick visual walk around the car, all the body panels are in good condition. Doesn't look like it's been in any kind of wrecks or collisions. Paint is in decent shape for the age. We have some brand new all-terrain, more aggressive tires on a set of BRZ wheels on the car. Everything looks to be in order body-wise. Southern car, rust-free, no worries or issues there. On around. Got a couple little scratches and swirl marks and some paint chips, but again, for a car of this age and mileage, nothing crazy. No concerns at all with the tires. Basically brand new tires. We've got some Wild Peak AT trail tires on here. Looks like we've got some slotted brake rotors, newer pads. No real concerns there. I think we've also got a set of newer struts, or at least newer top hats because of the new hardware here. Same goes for the rear of the vehicle, new tires, matching tires. We've got drilled and slotted rear rotors and newer pads on the back. All right guys, so got the lower splash shield out of the way. Nice and dry engine here. We don't see any leakage from our cam covers. We don't see any leakage from our head gasket, nor seepage from the upper nor the lower oil pan. Don't even see any seepage really from the timing chain cover other than just a little bit here, but might not actually be seepage. But very clean, very dry. Again, no head gasket leakage, no oil leakage from the cam covers. The only thing we got is a little bit of rust issue with some of these timing chain cover bolts and this coolant crossover for the oil cooler, some common issues. Front suspension wise, we got a new ball joint on the driver's side, passenger side is nice and tight. We've got upgraded sway bar end links with grease zerks in them. Everything looks good there. As I said before, we've got that busted inner CV axle boot on the passenger side. Driver's side, I believe, has a tear as well. There's that new ball joint on the driver's side. We'll slide further back and take a look at the back side of the engine transmission and the power steering rack. So looks like we've got some aluminum lower control arms here. I don't think the 09s had these stock. I think only the GT Legacy and the STI models had the lower control arms in aluminum. Haven't seen that bushing before. Normally they're not solid like that, so I don't know if that's an upgrade or aftermarket or what, but looks to be in good condition. Looks like we've got some new oxygen sensors here. Got a little bit of seepage going on from this transmission pan, but they were just in here about a week ago, so it might just be some residual that wasn't cleaned up all the way. Did see a little bit of a seep from the axle seals on both sides, looking at that. Everything else is pretty dry. Looked and didn't see any leakage from the rear main seal on the engine. Looks like our power steering rack is dry on this side, but on the driver's side, it gets a little wet. So a better view of the driver's side of the engine, still nice and dry. But that power steering rack, we got some leakage. I'm not sure if it's from the rack or the lines above it and has just leaked down over time. But the rack is wet, as we see here. And we can also see quite a bit of grease. Looks like that inner boot is at least torn, if not completely torn all the way around. It's got a hole somewhere because it has been slinging some axle grease in here. And actually this axle seal is nice and dry. It's just the passenger side axle seal that's wet. Let's see if we can get a better look at, yeah, you can see where that axle grease has been slinging around now from that inner CV axle boot there. So the vehicle has factory exhaust on it. We've got a tow package, and we do have a new Y pipe. It was a very common issue on the 05 to 09s for this Y pipe to rust and rot out. We have a nice dry rear differential, just a little bit crusty with some rust and corrosion. Looks like we've got a white line performance rear sway bar on this car. We've got some newer KYB rear strut assemblies on the car. I believe the customer said that they had new control arm or lateral link bushings installed as well. And we've got those greasable sway bar end links as we do on the front. Rear differential bushings look to be newer. And all in all, everything looks good under here. Nothing's really jumping out at me other than a little bit of surface rust. I got a little bit of rust on our axle. No leakage. Anything from our axle seals. Looks like everything's dry under here. Looks like a fairly good condition vehicle with minimal issues for the age and mileage. You know what, we might as well go ahead and do a code scan just to see. Does sound like we've got a noisy mode door actuator hunting for its position in the dashboard. And today we're using the AutoFix Evo Scan Ultra. So we'll just go through and do a full system scan. Pretty sure everything's all right. There were no lights on, and the customer just did their own repair on the transmission, although we got some faults in the ABS VDC. So we'll let this finish, and we'll just see what we got on hand. We got an SRS too. So code scan finished up. Nothing really astronomical here. We've got some history code for the ABS and VDC. Got a passenger airbag indicator fault, code 26, which most of us know. is just reflowing a cracked solder joint, usually on that little display will fix it. I've got a video on that. I'll try to link it for those of you interested in it. And a couple TPMS codes and an immobilizer code, and that's it. So nothing really going on here, nothing really crazy. History codes, nothing really to worry about. So guys, there you have it. Full inspection, front to back on this 2009 Outback 30R Limited with 167,000 miles. Very minimal issues found. I mean, a serpentine belt, couple seals, gaskets, axle, not much going on here, not much needed for repair. Looking at previous repairs and parts replaced, not a real big repair bill there. Not a whole lot has gone wrong on the car. As I said, this owner has had the car since 60,000 miles, so 107,000 miles. Not much having to be done to it. It's in still really good condition today. And, you know, just another testament to Subaru's reliability and longevity. With that said, I do believe that the owner of the vehicle expressed some desire to possibly sell the vehicle. I'll ask him about that when he comes to pick the car up this afternoon. But if he does want to get rid of the car, if he does want to post it up for sale, I will leave some details in the description of the video if he allows it, if you are interested, and I will try to get you in contact with him if you're interested in the South Carolina, North Carolina general area and looking for a 30R Limited Outback wagon. So guys, with that said, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you all in the next one.